Yo, what's up everybody, my name is Casey James and today I'm going to be doing a tier list on the YouTube boxing scene. Last time we did a tier list it was on the lineal heavyweight champions of the world, and this time I want to do a tier list on YouTube boxing. Obviously we had KSI vs Logan Paul last weekend, or the weekend just before, and I thought why not do a tier list of all the people who have competed in a ring and rank them in terms of future world champion, professional, amateur, white collar, terrible, or should retire. With the top four, they're kind of more based on an actual boxer. So you got the white collar type boxers who train for a fight. They don't do any boxing just before they get told they're going to do a fight, and then they train for that specific fight. Then you've got amateur, you spend a good time of boxing to then get a fight. Professional, these are kind of more of the professionals that are less like you know, the AJs of the world. It's more like undercard fighters, or doing one job and then one night they'll box. But I mean, with these YouTubers, obviously that's their main job. But and then future world champion, you know, just people who are definitely committed to boxing and actually have a huge passion for it, and you can see that they've progressed as a boxer, really. And yeah, I thought let's rank them in terms of best to worst, really. But we're going to start off with FaZe Sensei. Now FaZe Sensei was going to be on the KSI vs Logan Paul undercard. He backed out though, because I think he had like a stomach injury or something like that. But he's really good. He fought on the last KSI and Logan fight, well, the first one even, which was at an amateur level, but you know, he's a professional kickboxer. I think he lost his first professional kickboxing fight though, so I think in terms of boxing he might be at an amateur / professional. I don't know. I think I'm going to go amateur for now, just because I haven't seen him actually have a professional boxing fight. I've seen him have a professional kickboxing fight, which didn't land his way, unfortunately. But I'll put him in amateur for now. So next up we got Deji. Now Deji's only fought once and he's lost once to Jake Paul. But you know, he went 5 rounds in the 6th round fight. He was a huge underdog in terms of height, weight, and just experience, really, in combat. And I feel like that the fact that he's actually made videos now saying like, I am dedicated to get back into the ring, like, you gotta respect that. So I don't really know if I should put him next to FaZe though. I don't think he's white collar, but I don't think he'll ever go professional, if I'm being honest. I think he could very well be at an amateur level. I think even though he's next to Sensei, I'd say Sensei's like higher amateur, and I mean Deji's kind of just at an amateur level. But obviously I haven't seen his next fight. He said he's going to get back in the ring, so good on him. Next up we got Coach Richards. Now he fought JMX in JMX's second fight, which was also on the KSI vs Logan Paul undercard, the first one. And in terms of athletics, he's good. He's really good. I think he was in the Olympics actually. And in terms of boxing though, I don't think he's incredible. He didn't win the fight. Obviously there was a huge height and weight disadvantage, but I would say, yeah, I would say white collar. I think I'm going to put him white collar. I've put him there at white collar. I think that's the right place to put him. Then we got Adam Saleh. Now he does have an actual amateur record. He's been doing boxing before YouTube boxing actually, and he was a possible candidate to fight JJ KSI. His weight difference though, that fight never happened and probably never will happen, but I would say that he is at an amateur / professional level. I think if he wanted to get a professional license, he easily could, but I'm gonna put him at amateur for now, just because in his first YouTube boxing fight, and his only YouTube boxing fight at the point of this recording, he did drop to one of the guy's punches. So yeah, I'm just gonna put him there for now. Now we got Scarce. This is the first stinker really. Fair play to Scarce, like he got in the ring, took a lot of abuse, and he didn't get TKO'd, he didn't get knocked out, he actually went the distance, but he didn't win the fight. But in terms of his boxing, he's not even at a white collar level, if I'm being honest. Should retire or terrible? Well, I don't think he's going to get back in the ring, so I'd say should retire. And I think he'll agree with that, maybe. I don't know. But next we got Drizzy Jeremy. In terms of a name, I just put him at should retire anyway, but he did lose his fight, and he was the first fight that happened on the KSI vs Logan Paul undercard, the first one. Most of these are on the first card because the second card was a professional fight, so it was difficult to get any of them on. But yeah, I couldn't really put him any higher than terrible. But yeah, I'll put him at should retire. He's not amazing. I think if he's stuck at boxing, he could probably develop further, but as for now, he doesn't really have much purpose to do another boxing match. Coming up next, we got Pheo Baker, and this actually started with Joe Walla versus Pheo Baker doing a sparring match to determine who won. I mean, it was a spar, but it was also it wasn't an actual fight. It was yeah, it was very white collar-esque. So I don't think I'd even put him at white collar just because he lost to Joe technically, and his skill level wasn't great. So I'll put him at terrible just because I feel like he definitely was an impact in what YouTube boxing was, and he definitely was one of the people who started it, so I think he deserves to be a little bit higher. But next we got Momo. Momo also fought on the all of these guys pretty much fought on the undercard, or majority of them did, for the KSI and Logan Paul first fight. And in terms of dance moves, maybe he's at an amateur level. In terms of boxing, he's terrible. He did win the fight, but he spent his boxing match basically dancing, so I can't really put him any higher than that, to be honest. And apparently he didn't even train for the fight when he got into the ring, so yeah, the fact that he won, that's pretty embarrassing for the guy who lost, who's also on this list. Then we got Rucka Rucka, one of the greatest creators on YouTube, absolutely. This is only one half of Rucka Rucka. It's Michael Philippou, I think his name is. And yeah, incredibly talented. I mean, we got him in a Ronald McDonald costume here. I would say he's white collar amateur level. I know I haven't put anyone at professional or future champion yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I think, to be honest, I think he's probably white collar. Even though he did win his fight, I don't think, he didn't go 6 rounds. I think it was a 3-round fight, and I mean, he fought Scarce. so he didn't really have like someone who knew boxing too well. I mean, Scarce, fair play to him, he lost a lot of weight for the fight, but yeah, I'll put Rucker Michael at white collar for now. And we got Rossi HD, who was the person who lost to Momo, who was basically doing a dance off, so I'm immediately putting him at should retire. It suits the colour because it's blue and blue, so yeah. We got Ham, who fought Drizzy Jeremy, and he has a boxing reputation before YouTube, but he did it as a kid, and he put on a lot of weight. He was originally meant to fight JMX, but there was such a different height advantage. I think JMX is something like 6'6". It was literally David versus Goliath, but I'll put him terrible just because he did have a level of understanding of boxing. Then we got Avert Flow. He was the only person he's the only person Faye Sensei has fought, the only YouTuber he's fought so far, and I'd say he's a white collar level, to be honest. Even though he did lose, he was definitely giving Sensei a good run for his money in the first few rounds. He got dropped after a liver shot though, and yeah, I mean, fair play. He definitely fought on like a champion. I think he's a white collar level. He does have like a mixed martial arts sort of background. Obviously, if this was mixed martial arts, he'd probably rank a little bit higher. But in terms of just pure boxing, I just put him there for now. That's Jay Swindler from TGF Bros, and I mean, in terms of heart, this guy deserves to be at the top. Absolutely amazing. Didn't win his fight. It looks like most of the professional / better fighters are kind of nearer to the end of this. But you know what? I'd say he's at an amateur level, because the fight he had with Anison Gibb was easily the best fight on the card. Better than the KSI and Logan fight, better than Deji versus Jake Paul. Just an amazing fight, really entertaining, and I can't really see him getting back into the ring, but he definitely fought at an amateur level in my opinion. Next up we've got Vidal Riley. Honestly, the only person on this list who could very well be a future world champion. This guy was the person who trained KSI JJ for his fight against Joe Walla, against Logan Paul, and against Logan Paul again. And yeah, he is definitely the future of cruiserweight boxing. He's promoted by the Mayweathers. He's signed by the Mayweathers. I think Jeff Mayweather is his head coach. So he's an incredible boxer and has a really good amateur background as well. So definitely has to be top tier for me. Then we got Joe Walla, arguably the most important person on this list. He really did popularise this idea of YouTube boxing, and I do like Joe. I do want to rank him higher. I feel like I don't think he should be on the same level as Pheo Baker though, just because he beat him. I think maybe white collar, because he's definitely not at an amateur level, and that's no offense to Joe, but he just hasn't trained to that amateur level, to that professional level, and when he did go against KSI, he did kind of freeze in that moment. So I can't really say he's any higher than white collar. He could very well have been amateur if he had another fight after JJ, but when he lost to JJ, he just stopped doing boxing. He did boxing videos, but he didn't have another YouTube boxing fight. And next up we got Fouseytube. Easily should retire. If you've seen Fouseytube box, it is like punching a boxing bag, pretty much. That just not even that. It's like punching a boxing bag that doesn't move at all. This guy uses his face for a defense, which is never good at all. He did beat someone on this list technically, but not in an actual fight in a spar. But you know, it's YouTube, so it was put all over the internet. But in his first fight, he lost to Slim, who's actually not on here. But if Slim was on here as well, he'd probably still be at should retire or terrible, because they weren't that good. They were definitely a white collar level of boxing, and even white collar would be better than that, I think. But Fouseytube easily at the bottom. Then we got Jake Paul. As much as I hate Jake, I got to admit he is definitely a good boxer. If we're talking about Jake Paul when he fought Deji, he'd be white collar amateur. He'd be an amateur because he beat Deji, but he has actually got his professional license. We haven't seen him have a professional fight yet. I'll put him at professional just because I don't want to be biased towards him, just because I hate him. But we'll have him at professional. We've got Mike Fox now, another person who's faced JMX and lost. It was JMX's first opponent. Again, very uneven in terms of height and weight, and I would say should retire, but apparently he's doing this like charity MMA fight, which JMX is doing as well. They're not fighting each other, but they're both on that card. So I would say, I just say terrible, just because he's still in the mix of doing combat. And we've been mentioning his name a lot, but JMX is on this list, 2-0, 1 win by stoppage, and he's also reverted to MMA rather than just clean boxing. Yeah, definitely amateur level, I'd say. I wouldn't say professional, just because the people he's fought have been under 6 foot, and there's been a big weight difference, and he's definitely had more experience in boxing compared to his opponents. So yeah, I wouldn't say he's at professional level. KSI, easily professional. I don't think anyone apart from Vidal will be a future world champion. These are people who I honestly think will win a world title in their boxing careers, or just fighting careers. They could very well go off to do MMA or something like that. But JJ, if Jake's in there, JJ is obviously in there. JJ has just beaten Logan Paul, and we get to Logan Paul as well. I put Logan at professional as well because it was a really close fight. Even though Shannon Briggs claims that Logan Paul is going to be a future world champion, he's not. He's not. I don't think Logan Paul could even be a world champion at the UFC, but I think he'd have more success in the UFC. Even though UFC is more dangerous, he does have a really good wrestling background. Obviously, he's been doing boxing for the past 2 years. But yeah, if he's there, I think JJ should be there. If JJ's a professional, he should be professional. Obviously, these two do have professional licenses, and they've stocked the bill on top of Devin Haney and Billy Joe Saunders. So fair play. Alex Wasabi should retire. I mean, Alex Wasabi should probably have a ranking of his own. Honestly, he should stop. He lost to Fouseytube, and as I mentioned before, Fouseytube's defense is his face, pretty much. It's embarrassing to be Alex Wasabi. So yeah, we'll move on. And last but not least, Big Gibber, Anisong Gibb, someone who is going to be fighting Jake Paul soon. I hope that will be the next big YouTube fight. This is the next 2 YouTubers who are at a professional level, really. And I do believe if Jake's there, Anison has to be there. If Logan's there, JJ has to be there. These 4 are definitely the 4 people who are the main reason why YouTube boxing has been elevated to a professional level. And yeah, Anison Gibb is just completely forward. He's always on the front foot. He will go to war with you. But yeah, there's only one person who reigns supreme, and that's Vidal Riley. I do hope that he gets to 1 million by the end of this year. Obviously, what he's done for JJ and KSI is amazing. To get into a professional level, from him looking like kind of this fat skinny nerd to being this professional killer, really, it's very impressive. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a thumbs up and peace.